No more
Yeah.
clouds. And then the
Yes.
water level rises. Doi.
It was. It
So
was.
thanks for Disney science, because Disney science.
It was
It
funny.
was like a soft disclosure.
I know. That's what I was. That's what I thought. And then I was thinking, like okay. So they merged, and so is that when you get your cascades and you have different magma chambers, but you have also, but
So
you're like connected, but you have different plumes coming out, or what? Like when a submarine and a island bulk,
if
because
we
that would
go
have been
by,
subaqueous, because it's half under, half above,
if we
Yeah.
and
go
maybe
by
that's
Disney
how islands
theory,
form.
I really want to know what Krakatau is. Is that group sex or something?
I don't know.
Krakatau.
Like one volcano turns into 3 islands and then creates another one. What the fuck
Mhm.
there? Disney, can you explain this to me?
That for real though, for islands, they took 6 days to form a giant landmass. I was reading just something from the documents of, I don't know, the current narrative, and it was like it went on producing, erupting the submarine bulk. The hydrothermal vent was emitting whatever basalt, and in 6 days you had landform, and it was like, oh, well, that's faster than the 6 months that they give you on the, I don't know, narrative on the new islands they're finding, and that's like that's rapid. Hawaii, is growing more than it's losing, and I think that was like 45 acres a year. The big Hawaii island is expanding.
Mhm.
500 acres over the last, man, was it 35 years, I think? And but then it's also you're losing acreage because they're erupting. And then it said 94% of the island was safe. Um, it's just that's is there a connection between uh, land being destructed, so in the new land of volcanoes? So you have new land,
Yes,
and
definite
that's going to be
connection.
safe for longer. And so do we all go to Hawaii because
No.
that's, I mean, or like, where do you go?
So
They have volcanoes, but they have said the way with all of the eruptions that are happening, allegedly it's not a risky place to be. But I have no idea how that would work because it sounds like a death trap. I want to go film the six volcanoes on the Hawaiian island, but 3 are active. But I suppose I don't even know the square footage right now, or of Hawaii, and I can't picture
I got some
it
pals out
compared
there,
to.
and it's so much smaller than you think, but yet when you're down there on the ground, it's giant. I mean,
Yeah.
coming in on a plane, it totally messes with your sense of scope.
It's a
And
bit.
Yeah.
I remember flying into Maui my first time and thinking like this is just overcast like back home, but I'm hot and sweaty. And then, of course the weather changes every few hours and it's gorgeous. I love it. But yeah,
Never
the
been.
I really want to get into, and I'm not going to get too deep into it today, but um, I want to get into the cyclic change of ocean level. This is something that, like volcanoes, now people are talking about volcanoes, hell yes, but ocean levels, it's a direct factor. You see in that, just like in that Disney lava short, the Pixar short, when he stopped making clouds, the water level rose. He wasn't sinking beneath the oceans. When volcanism dies down, all that water that was trapped up in the clouds no longer is. And so this is your continental shelf. There's a site, a website called sealevel.info that is really killer. It's a wondrous resource on, well, the thousands
That's
of
awesome.
papers done on sea level rise and fall, multi-decadal averages, centennial averages, every single thing. In fact, it's my number one source when I want to look
It's awesome.
at water and precipitation as
Does
relates
it
to
talk
cyclic
about
events.
question then regarding like tidal waves. Is there a significant amount of water lost when these volcanoes cave in and they cause tidal waves? The walls,
so
whatever, thin, and they tip, and that water is dispersed, or what?
the main difference, a tidal wave is a surface wave, and a tsunami is a displacement of
Sorry,
water
tsunami.
all
Yes,
over. And
tsunami.
no, that
That's what it
stuff all
causes.
drains. That stuff all drains right back out. It's a part of the cycle.
Okay.
But yeah, when something fills more ocean space, that water's got to go somewhere.
Well,
But
it's
it
not
all
filling it because it's
does
already
come.
in there. Is my question.
Well,
If
like
so,
Anna
a
Krakatau,
tsunami is caused by the big, whatever, it tips over allegedly,
mass displacement of water.
and yes, but has to go all the way to whatever the nearest shoreline is, or whatever angle it's falling at, or I want to watch it happen. I bet you can.
Oh, you
They
can
have.
do it. I mean, they're all
I want to
scalable.
go
You
look at
you
the
do it in the bathtub, or you do it when you drop a cube of ice into a glass of water.
because you just tip it over and it would just go boom.
Yeah, you
And
just
how would
put
you
it.
actually know exactly when that happens? You're not going to know, really. I mean, if you have enough seismographic data to know when it's getting weaker, you'd know when there is a risk that it's going to cave in if it's a continuously producing hydrothermal vent and whatever. But there's a couple of studies on just those features of land and then the submarine volcs and how each part around it, it's like a science of the different surfaces of the volc, and then also the innards, and so the furnace or magma chamber and the different pressures around that. And it's fascinating because that is what's causing the seismography to change. And then the liquids inside, like when it's pressurized, if there's like crystals, it's more pressurized, and whatever happens, that's when the quaking happens. So I have some of those documents that hopefully I can show that everyone's studying. There was like even a Russian one that I could not get.
Was it working in? Was it working in Chrome? Chrome has this auto translate function, so if you just plug the link in, Chrome.
Well, no,
will
no, it was working. It was in English, but it was about Russia and earthquakes and versus volcanoes for seismography. Because I got all this data about which comes first, and it's pretty confirming in that the fluids heat, the volcano quakes and it gets ready to like erupt in these different stages of where they're located. And then you have seismography of the earth after. And so the theory, and I'm sure it happens to, ripple effects. So sometimes maybe, the earth is quaking, but that really is not the triggering mechanism of the volcano. And I think that's like the common narrative that people think. And they're worried that earthquakes are going to trigger this, but really we know what the earthquakes are coming from. And they should have more prediction of that, but they're trying to predict the volcanoes. And so that's like primary and secondary. And that's like, wake up a little bit, because it's just, people got to know that it's basic. If it's true, I guess I feel like that's something that there's a lot of research to support, but I'm sure there's the counter to that as well. So I'm going to, but if we're going to talk about all these things, I need to make sure I have my PDFs, because those are.
There's a ton of information on earthquakes that we've collected, but nobody really thinks about the cause. You're spot on with that. Sometimes it is displacement, sometimes it's volcanism, but sometimes
I was looking for fracking, and that's what was interesting.
It's actually water.
Well, yeah, and
nobody ever considers that subterranean water and, in fact, changes in water can cause earthquakes, just the same as volcanism.
That's constantly happening when you realize there's over
what I would like to
right?
see is the relationship between subterranean water and volcanoes. I don't mean just geysers or hot springs. I mean how they interact on a massive scale beneath our feet. That's something I've yet to come across in any great detail.
For which ones? The the owner,
large scale large scale interaction of subterranean water with volcanoes.
Isn't that this one?
Yes, hold on. They have the seismography of it looks like they're on pillars. It looks like the border around the Earth is the activity they have. It's ocean seismography of
Mm-hmm.
hydrothermal venting, and it looks like almost pillars of these volcanoes are around everywhere, every coastline.
Mm-hmm.
And like Australia has one like below it that looks like it's producing it, and I was like, it creeped me out. I sent it to Mike. I think I sent it to you. It was on that weird website that had 3 documents on it that were linked. They were like 2014. It was that one, and it was a couple other weird ones. And I was like, what site is this? But it was a like GovDoc, and they were using, I don't know if they were using the cable array or what to measure to help measure the seismography. Anyway, it was weird, and
And
the aerial view.
all subsurface beneath the ocean.
It's well, no, that was just the seismography of location of the ventings of the
Okay.
submarine volcanoes. But you're talking like depths. I have.
No, what I've been searching for is lately has been studies of the water beneath the feet like the ground we walk on, and volcanoes.
Okay.
Like, how does the subterranean river beneath Death Valley, how does that interact with the Mammoth and Yellowstone calderas beneath our feet?
Okay. Yeah.
Because
no. Yes.
we know
There's
in some
interconnected
spots,
system.
those are yes, yeah, they
Yes.
follow the same webway.
Vessels. But
It's
here's the other
webway.
thing. Now think about the same webway, but think about that a layer below that of lava tubes of travel that are either
But
dried out, or would that not be below? Would it be?
Well, it's my
more
contention that we have the 3 phases. We have excitable silicious magma, we have igneous magma, and we have water and oil.
Yes.
And those all interact at some point beneath our feet, like on land masses, but beneath us. And I wonder at what point do they intermingle and separate? And
magma chambers is what I think, possibly. Right? No.
Through that, but I mean, say a magma chamber or a shift opens up a fissure and pressure shoves magma
and they come
into
out. Yeah.
a subterranean river. Where does that come out? Where does oil come in? And I've been thinking about this one recently, because we all know that, I mean, especially beneath America, from the Rockies all the way to the Great Lakes, we have those very subterranean systems.
Oh, yes.
America's got as much beneath it as it does above it. It's wild.
It's and more, because what you're saying. So if you can just imagine, the image of the Earth, and they show the core as a solid heated ball.
Oh,
and
such
you have
baloney.
But here's the thing: if you flip it and think of it as almost like an iron, okay, like that's cooking things or whatever, and make it a plane that is us, okay, and then imagine there's the magma that's getting cooked on that core plane that's magnetic, right? And then the magma's there's areas that have crystallines and crystal deposits that are getting hotter, causing higher pressure, and water gets subducted in through the hydrothermal vents system that's connected to the land systems on different levels and not on other levels that probably go. I don't know if I was talking to you about, what about 2 volcanoes on opposite ends of a body of water that have a lava tube that goes below them connecting, and so there's no water in these tubes either, or there could very well be, if depending on their location. So you have this whole network of channels between the system of volcanic activity, and it's like the alchemy of Earth, everything, because it's the atmosphere when it's going off in the ocean. And so yeah, the oil, I was thinking, so if there's volcanoes everywhere at one point in time, including Minnesota, there's like a few, I think, because, so they would also have magma chambers. And so if along the way it gets to a point where it's oil gets separated because it's left, we have water or we have different things happening, then that could get stuck in these magma chambers, and they're drilling for oil in old volcanic graveyards. I don't know what to call them, but
I feel you.
That's one thing. And then they're switching to do just hydrothermal vents because it's done for them, and they can suck out. petrol, and it's in a supercritical. Yeah.
They're plumbing the
And so,
veins of the Earth's corpse.
but that's what I think
That's what they're doing.
the 60 years war for the Great Lakes, or the 2-year Great Lakes War,
Where
was for that land, because that's where these volcanoes were that we don't know about, because it's Eagle Mountain, and it's so insane. And the
All right,
Rockefellers own it. They own that. It's 6 million acres, and that's the location.
yeah.
And so this war was won by somebody, not us, and they get to dictate what happens to that land, and it's bogus. So that's why I think we're talking about all this, because why else would you hide volcanoes so like ridiculously and subcompartmentalized with just these
what I think
category
is
upon category upon category that you have to just know eventually to
what I
understand
think is
talking.
so wild about that, and I'm going to show you tonight one additional book that I think should be a part of the historical primer when somebody's like, how were volcanoes? I have a book. A new
Yes.
one. But
Oh my gosh.
so get this.
Hold on. Can I ask you real
Wait.
quick?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna I feel like human, like not the body systems, is it?
No,
Like,
no. This
okay. Hoofda.
this is a book
I just had
that'll
this
show you
crazy thing
just
that
how
I.
crazy
Okay,
volcanoes not
cool.
only are but have been always.
Yay. Yay. Sweet.
And it's old.
Yes.
Okay, so get this. Here is the overarching idea that I've been thinking about, and something I've been trying to get out and see what people think, but this is the first time I'm going to say it where everybody can hear it, because of course Andreas is going to get a hold of this. The Earth is a magnet with a plasma center or a plasma base if it's a sphere. I don't care what you call it. Now, however, this plasma, this energy, creates matter.
Mm-hmm.
Energy at some point creates matter. You can do it in a lab.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what holds volcanoes in? Why don't all the volcanoes just blow at once? I'll tell you, because magnetism holds them to the core, beneath the surface. When you look at an eruption on in a volcanic area, the magnetism done by ground-based magnetometers and satellite data all shows a severe drop in magnetism at the time of eruptions. And so when we're monitoring a volcano and the magnetism drops off, that lava is allowed to escape. It's not just one system of pressure, it's another system of magnetism holding this in. And that's crazy, isn't it? So
But
now imagine this. Wait a second.
I'm gonna pass out.
This. Now, the magnetism, so cool. In order for us to have severe volcanic events, the magnetism would have to drop to such a level. Now, what is it that we hear about right now with our poles? That the Earth has 4 poles, and when undergoing a pole shift, the magnetism drops from anywhere from 100% to 20%, or during a full magnetic reversal to 5%. So, so if there's an impending pole shift, the magnetism will be weak enough to unleash the mountain. Everywhere.
Sorry, my boom.
That's it.
That's bam. And
that's
here's the thing. Do you know that I have
a pole shift? And now all of the past major eruptions, we have to start looking at them in a magnetic sense. Were they not because they erupted plain out of nowhere? Were they because the magnetism of the Earth or the Earth plane, I don't care what you call it, were they not because the magnetism was so weak at that moment? Anytime we drop our shield, we blow our top.
Okay. Do you know, and I don't know, I was talking to Lee about how they give you the story, but they never give you what the truth is or whatever. Anyway, I sent him a document, and I didn't know the current, I think maybe it was you even, I didn't know the current narrative of Earth, because I assumed that everyone was on board with like we have magnetic Earth, that's what's holding us here, like that I thought was a scientific
Nope.
acceptance, and I found the doc proving that study. Like I don't know, I don't know if I sent it to you. It was like 2 days ago, and it says scientists backtrack and change their theory about what the center of Earth is. I'm like, what the flip? And so
Yeah,
I didn't even know
there's-
that. I thought that already was the.
Are they
So
starting
it
to
was
say
funny.
plasma core?
I have it. No, I have it. They just confirmed after I thought this, because my husband said, "Well, no, it's not a magnetic Earth." I said, "What? Don't you know what's below us? It's obviously
they used
magnetic.
to
We have
think
iron in our blood. That's what's holding us here, not gravity."
They
For
used to
goodness
think
sakes.
that. Okay,
What?
so they used to think that
Oh, this is
magnetism
why I'm
was a
so.
symptom, not the cause. So they said we have magnetism
So
because the Earth has hot iron at its center and it's spinning so fast it creates a
no,
magnet.
no,
No
no,
plasma.
no. This is how dumb. I'm so
I know
annoyed.
that's
But
Breathe
because I've
in
been
and
studying this
out.
science,
In
sorry.
and
Thank
out.
you, Mike.
nah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Thank you.
make a
But
faint.
because I'm studying
Calm
science
down.
from Starforts and from this tech and
Mm-hmm.
from von Reichenbach, I already assume that that is the mechanism of what we are on. Like, obviously, and like dielectricity and just like how the
No,
only
the
way that would make
science.
sense to have anti-gravity is you're anti-magnetic to whatever the center is, which is pulling us. So that was
With
my common
science,
sense.
it is not. It is
And
not
I
what's
didn't know
right.
that.
With science
That's
or
funny.
correct, it is what has the most money to
Mm.
advertise.
So I can share that document with you right now, and I think it's a
Hell
like
yeah.
gov doc, like it's scholarly. Oh my! I sent it to Lee yesterday, maybe,
Uh-oh.
because
Was that
I
my
was trying to.
connection that dropped or hers?
Oh, hello.
What?
Was
Am
that
I
my
not there?
connection that dropped or yours?
Can you
Everybody's
hear
back
me?
I
Okay. Oh, maybe
don't know. I
maybe I'm
know.
not supposed to. You're gonna. This is so friggin' sweet.
Guys,
Hold on.
T1000's here.
I wonder if I put it on the actual page. Hold on. This is insane. Because I didn't even know. I just started to assume the science that we have because I've been like looking at your guys' everything. It's become but I thought everything else was, everybody else was thinking. But hold on, it's going to be significant, I guess. Let's see.
No, it really sucks. It really sucks when you have an idea in your head or you have a piece of information, but then you realize you have to backtrack because you're the only one with that piece of information. And that's why you're going to share us this document. Will you screen share
Holy
it?
cow. I'm trying. Hold on, I gotta find it.
I
And I
wonder,
wonder if I shared it in Volcanoes or with
do you remember the
Lee.
title of it?
Hold on. Dead zone.
Oh, were you looking at the
Toxic
Gulf?
zone. Oh man, I've been so many places. I was looking at river hydrothermal vents that maybe came from the ocean that were through tubes and blah. I can't even. Okay, I gotta think here. I think
Mike, while
I might
she's
have put it on the
thinking, can you
main
take us to
page.
Cinnabon?
I was looking
Yeah.
at. Yeah.
Cinnabon's going right now. It's getting a lot of attention this week.
That's why I put it
Hold
in.
on.
Yep, that's a hot one.
I wonder.
Well,
Let me
and
see.
on Google Earth as well, like they always have like this dry area going if you
Here
go
we go. I sent it to you. I think. Hold on.
Merapi
Here.
volcanoes, the same deal going on here.
But they have the mystic direction with a picture of the frickin' ball. So if you flatten that and think of an iron below it, essentially, like cooking, but also it's as a magnet and it's pulling. And it's probably got an impact on temperature as well. So hold on. Copy text. Why can't I edit this? Freaking A. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is sweet. I wonder if I have the actual doc. Okay. I tagged your name and then I have it. I wonder if I can share it because I'm in Google,
You
whatever.
can just screen share it.
Or here, you're probably better than I am. Why don't I?
And Lens of Erebus.
Where are you?
Yeah, I like that. Oh, did you guys hear about the maybe. Look at South America. You see that right there? There's a volcano off of the tip that used to touch South America. Yep. One of those volcanoes, which is now underground, when it blew,
Makes sense.
it
Mike, there you go.
caused, they think it caused this massive shift, which opened that waterway there. That's how big it was. Used to be interconnected, and something changed.
So you're suggesting that basically this whole thing was a volcano.
Almost, yeah. Yeah. There's ghost volcanoes that blew so big that the lava chambers collapsed and all of the lava split off and found new ways up to the surface. I think that used to be something a little bigger.
The lava dams can get up to 1,000 meters or thousands of meters big, and that can corrode to be and it looks like very big canyons, and it's very interesting because that's also linked to some other stuff. I did send Mike that thing, and I put it back in your message on the Discord because I can't flip back and forth. So that's the article, but that's linked to the actual study, and you can get the science and the findings.
Yeah, I remember.
It's like, so I was like, I showed it to my husband. He goes, "Well, that's different." I said, "What do you mean?" Because I was already picturing unfolding that from the inside out and laying it flat to be able to imagine the system of like magma and blood, and even just understanding eruptions and how when a magma chamber meets another, or when magma meets magma, it's like boom, because it's way different. You know, the alchemy of the chamber is different for each volc, and so
you've got
when they meet up, it goes boom, kaboom. So then,
not only that,
it's
but
just
the ionization when two separate metals meet, sometimes they create new metals and new matter. And that's actually, when you're in the lab and you're messing with certain metals, you have to keep that in mind. That's the one way to kill yourself with liquid mercury, because liquid mercury doesn't kill you, but mercury vapor will kill you. So you have to watch out for those reactions, and they happen on large scales beneath us. The funny thing about this article is that this is one of the first glimpses for the mainstream world, but they're really just finally admitting to the world what the other half of the scientific community has been saying for decades. Of course, since Charles Hapgood. At least since Charles Hapgood. I have some books that may change that. I'm trying to track it back. I decided to try to take a look at some of the old ideas on volcanism and see if anybody got it right and then just kind of didn't catch any traction with their ideas, even though they were right.
Well, I think first of all, let's backpedal, because the theory of the magnetic like center or plate, like the bottom plate being magnetic.
Whatever it is, magnetic part.
Yeah, there we go. That's our skeleton could be the magnet. I don't know. I'm trying to think of it as a body structure and whatever, the foundation for everything. And how that impacts. Okay, so with our solar, the power of the sun and what's happening to volcanism and volcanoes might be linked also to the electromagnetic occurrences of what's happening, where we're releasing more lava because the magnetism is decreasing.
Yes, the magnetism is hand in hand with excitation of everything below. Like, volcanoes are just a symptom
of what to do with the blood.
what is happening with the plane or planet? I hate trying to be correct for everybody. They're just a symptom of what's happening on our world, but they are also the cause of all the things that we do currently. So according to the world, volcanoes are a symptom. According to humans, volcanoes are a cause.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it's like what else? I mean, it's the response to what to do with what it's made of, and it produces
Oh.
oxygen and water came from like everything.
I'm gonna screen share. Oh shit! That is a perfect segue, Brittany. What to do with volcanoes? I'm really excited for this. Can everyone see my screen?
I cannot. Hold on. Which
Now
I'm
you
screen
should.
share.
April? Hold on. I'm in two
Oh,
different hangouts.
hydraulic cement. What the hell?
How do I get to a different hangout? Is that no?
Solana.
Just click on Nathan's picture.
Yes.
I'm in like the main hangouts page. I'm not even in my. I don't know how to get to my video.
I'll wait for you. This is good.
Hold on. Am I logged in as which person? Let's do that first. Here we go. I'm back. Okay. Write a message. So I just click on you.
Solana, hydraulic cement. Do you know where I found this?
I can't see your screen. Oh, wait, here you go. I'm already in call, it says. You're already in call. Okay, stay there. It won't let me stay there. What the heck? Back. What the flip? I might have to come back because it's not letting me go back to the original hangout. What the frick? Will that screw everything up if I have to just redo it, or?
No, just use your voice activation. Okay, Google. It didn't work. My joke, I mean, it was a really good joke.
I'm sorry.
Whitney.
Here. I'm just. Well, I can see it, but it says you are already in call. When I click OK, it exits me out of the call. So I'm just trying to figure out why it won't let me do this.
Are you calling on your phone and surfing on your computer?
I'm on my phone doing no surfing. I'm trying to get into the Google Hangout, but it's signed in. And when I click on the ongoing call, it says I'm already in it. So I don't know. Whatever. I'm annoyed that it's not working. So I'll just log out and try coming back in, I guess.
We'll be
I'll go
here.
to my. Okay. Stupid. It's very simple now. All right.
I'll wait.
Wait, no, now it should be out of there. I just threw it out of my.
Now it
I
works?
closed it. No, I closed it, so I gotta. It's not. I don't know. There we go. Oh, wait.
You should see
Ongoing
Mike
call.
surfing.
Oh, look, a lighthouse. That's in the wrong
Damn.
folder.
How'd you see that from all the way up there?
As I marked it down.
Yeah, we looked at this when we were with Lee.
Yes.
I think that video is just lost to the sands of time. Although we had some really good stuff.
I'm going to publish that. It's not lost to the sense of time. I got it. It's hidden.
Right, I'm gonna try and close this. I might have to turn my phone off. It's like not letting me on this. So
No worry, just hop back out and hop in.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I only told Andreas last week, are you still going to upload that video that Nathan and I did with Lee? Did I get that from you? Yeah, you got a link. Okay, link it again.
Oh yeah, he's sitting on.
Yeah, he's sitting on a ton of
mine now.
so I'm forgiving him. It's no.
Like you remember the first solo video I sent you where I just shared a couple of pictures and I was like, this is what you need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. Imagine if everybody had seen that 2 weeks ago, because I've been saying it ever since. And he was like, it wasn't bad. It just didn't fit with what we were talking about and just needed to be explained different.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so it was bad. Just say it was bad. It's all good. I love you anyways. You love me too. Speaking of which, I think Brittany's gone. Let's talk about her. Brittany, you're awesome. She's going to hear that in this video on YouTube. She won't even know. What do you want to say for Brittany a week in the future?
Brittany, you kick ass.
Hell yeah.
Volcano research is awesome.
Yes. Good. I'm glad we got that out.
Yeah.
Don't tell Brittany. I bet she could still hear us. Damn it.
No, she's out of the conversation.
I still saw her face profile in.
No,
Oh, well.
if
Bro, I found the craziest stuff today on accident.
that's the best stuff. That's what happened to me yesterday, but that has nothing to do with volcanoes, so we'll get back on that.
The stuff I found today, I was looking into a few things on my own. I noticed that the Ice Age Farmer channel, who I follow, I have such a man crush on Christian. He's a great guy. Every time that I post in his Discord, he manages to reply to me. And so he used my video or my link that I sent him in today's video. Hey, Brittany.
Come back.
I gotta turn this off.
Can you see my volcanoes now?
Oh my gosh, I need to turn my video off. Hold on.
Perfect.
And
There you go.
there, okay. And yes. A ring-a-ding-ding. Here you go.
All right. I am back to screen sharing.
All right.
Sweet.
Present to everybody.
Pozzolana, also spelled pozzolana or pozzolan, hydraulic cement discovered by the Romans and still used in some countries. Made by grinding a type of slag that may be natural, volcanic, or artificial with powdered hydrated lime. Now, when I found this, it's not like it was very new because it's Roman concrete. Pozzolana will harden underneath water. That's very nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a revolution in its time. Now take a look at where I found it, and this is how we'll get into...
Did you start screen sharing on accident?
Nope. Switching screens.
There you go. Okay.
Not you, not you. Here we are.
Yeah.
I found this book, Volcanoes and Earthquakes of Earth,
Yes.
late 1700s.
Yay! Is it
And
my
I've
birthday?
I've been
Yeah, it is
digging
my-
for a while on these old ones because, like I said, I want
Yes!
to find out who had the right idea before
Oh.
and where
I'm so
that may have
pumped.
gone. So, come on, Internet.
I didn't know you were doing that because Victor said something early on, and it was a link to old. Like he's like, check this out, guys, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's an older doc, and I was just consumed.
Yeah, he
And
showed that
you
right
totally.
after.
I was like, I want to go there, but I don't know because I want to know more before I do, and that's where you've been going. Ah,
So I found it, and I got sick
so
of
happy.
looking at it in French because my French is still terrible. It's slow. But
Oh
you
my
need
gosh.
practice or you'll never get better. But eventually, I just wanted to know what it said at the speed of thought. Volcanoes
no
and
kidding.
earthquakes. Zurcher and Marble.
Breathe in and out.
Breathe
Okay.
in and out.
Weird.
In and
Thank
out.
you, Mike. If you hear me start like hyperventilating with excitement, just throw me the reminder. All right, I'm
This
calm.
was translated in 1868. Now that's important because we had just left a volcanic event in the early 1800s, late 17, early 18. Those are comets, Brittany. You see that picture on the left?
Oh dear Lord. Everybody
I'm just
rotate his head like
Yeah.
90 degrees to the left.
These are comets. And that is people running from a black sky. Comets and lightning ahead.
With the black sky, that's crazy.
That's
That looks more like
miasma.
lava.
Everything. Your
Looks good.
reset
Yeah.
is in this book.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Vesuvius, Etna,
Yes.
Iceland, volcanoes of the Atlantic, the Andes,
wow.
volcanoes of the Pacific and Indian
Oh, I'm
Oceans.
gonna cry.
Here we go. Prehistoric and lunar volcanoes. Earthquakes, mud volcanoes, springs and wells of fire, thermal springs, and the final chapter, upheavals. Now, it's finally in English. Finally.
Good.
I dug through 3/4 of this book in French, and I gave up, and I was looking at a separate topic, and I accidentally found the book in English. That's what I was talking about, Mike.
Yeah.
I had already given up.
This is actually quite a decent read, 25 pages.
Oh, yeah. Now, we have Etna, we have Vesuvius. This is but one of maybe, I would say, 20 volumes that I've found on volcanoes since I first started looking at Gallica as a volcano reference. But let's skip ahead.
Everybody's got one.
Gorgeous
That's
Etna.
awesome.
Ancient eruptions. The crater of Etna, eruption 1669, 1865. The Aeolian Isles, the Stromboli, the Cyclops. So I guess I can't read. But
So it's a Stromboli eruption. They're already labeling the types back in the. What year is this book?
No,
Sorry.
actually, Stromboli should be pretty close to Etna's.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
that's
so they actually talk about Etna in this book as a whole. It's the area.
Okay. But
So
now
it's
that's a
not
type
just
of eruption
Etna.
Yes, for
Yes,
everything.
because Stromboli, beneath Stromboli is a silicate-rich magma that is unique.
Yes.
And so
To only that type of
erupts-
eruption.
Exactly. So they named it after this most famous one.
Yes. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're back to the origin of the names of volcanoes like Hawaiian. And so this is very important to Volc studies because you got the origin.
So this right here, Etna 1669, lava flowing over the walls of Catania. That's wild. And this is a unique type of lava. This is the only type of lava that you can't outrun. So I can see this being a definite danger here.
That's
Elsewhere
the game,
in
though.
the
It's
world,
prepping us.
Yeah.
You can't run it. You just have to say everything's lava except, and you climb up. And then hope it doesn't burn down. I'm just kidding. But everything's going to be melted.
Here we are.
Does it have like temperatures
Cock
of
your
that? Or
head
is this more like, oh my gosh.
Cock your head sideways for that. Cascade of Fire, 1771. Eruption is 1776.
You should after this show you should head to Mike Stellium's channel and make an appointment at his chiropraxy.
Yeah. Okay, here we are. During the night from January 30 to 31, a violent shock made the inhabitants leave their houses. And the village is situated on the northeast side of the mountain. Immediately after, sheaves of fire rose in one place, about 1,800 yards above the sea, and as soon as the ground opened, the lava began to flow rapidly. In 2 or 3 days, it had extended in length 3 miles, with the breadth of 1 or 2. Its depth was variable, but often attained from 32 to 65 feet. This stream of lava, checked by an ancient cone, divided into 2 arms, one of which precipitated itself into a straight and deep valley, forming a cascade of fire, carrying on its surface solidified blocks, which fell with great noise from a height of 50 yards. The craters, to the date of March 10th, were
Yeah.
7 in number, 5 of which were comprised in a vast crevassed belt, closed on all sides except toward the west, where there was an opening from which the torrents of lava escaped. These craters were situated on the prolongation of a large rent in the surface, probably produced, page flip, almost done with this one, at the beginning of the eruption, a fact frequently observed as may be seen from the preceding accounts. That's just
Wow.
a single
Wow.
eruption. The river
Exactly.
flowed down, divided into two, carried massive blocks that dropped off of a cliff face and created 7 lasting craters.
Correct. And are those craters currently credited as being volcanic craters right now, or are they credited as being, you know, meteoritic or whatever?
Those actually,
Because they're
they're just saying
differentiated.
that
So
the stream, the river was so strong, the magma river,
yeah,
it was so strong and so large that it picked up massive stones and was
correct.
able to carry them over the edge of
That's,
the mountain. There was a waterfall of magma
oh, that's
down the mountain. Now check
and
this
then
out.
that this isn't. Yeah, this is how it's formed.
This
This
is
is everything.
this is a really fun one. Where are we?
As
Ah,
I was talking
the
about
earth. The earth, says Homer, is fertile without being sown or cultivated. It produces wheat, barley, the vine, the grapes of which give abundant wine, and the rain of Jupiter makes the fruits grow.
The reign of Jupiter.
These are the words of Homer.
So Jupiter is a volcano.
correct. Correct. A ring a ding ding. That's so awesome.
Ding 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 ding. You.
This is so beautiful. I was just talking about waterfalls and as an indication of volcanic pasts, and I want to look at all these things because if they're how deep were the craters? Did it say from that were left? The 7, like did it when the rocks fell from the whatever lava falls? I mean, how deep is that? And then think about that at the
Seen.
Grand Canyon scale.
Mhm.
And we've solved mysteries through reading original text. This is great. Fantastic. All right, let's
Skim
more.
ahead again.
Yeah,
I
keep
will,
going.
most definitely. There's the Stromboli, but
Oh,
surrounded by water, Stromboli was more of a fun thing to observe from afar. Iceland is specifically interesting to me. Here we're in Iceland. A magnificent lake, the water is transparent as the bright tints of the emerald, rests at the bottom of the plain of Thingvalla, located in the fine season with grass and shrubs. And this is all volcanism. They knew this. They talk about the geysers here.
jeez.
And
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to this. I must now direct your attention to a natural steam engine which long held a place among the wonders of the world. I allude to the Great Geyser of Iceland. The surface of Iceland gradually slopes from the coast towards the center. Where the general level is about 2,000 feet above the sea. On this, as a pedestal, are planted the Jokul or icy mountains, which extend both ways in a northeasterly direction. Along this chain occur the active volcanoes of the island, and the thermal springs follow the same direction. It wasn't an issue before. You think of Old Faithful in our caldera. This is the great geyser of their time. Iceland.
Wow.
Yeah, because of magnetic changes,
Mm-hmm.
the geysers move.
Yes, and what are we seeing as a stronger and stronger magnetism. The Icelandic region. What has a weaker magnetism because our magnetic pole has diverged and is rushing into Siberia? We're seeing that America's general magnetic field is weaker. We'll see increased activity in the Americas. In South America, we'll see reduced seismic and volcanic activity over the next, I would say, 20 years for the short term over Russia. Russia will go silent. Because as the magnetism weakens, the lava escapes.
Russia's been silent for a long time, from what I gather.
Wait, you what?
In volcanism, Russia's been quiet for a long time. The only real active stuff I can find so far in Russia is on the east coast.
Uh-huh.
That really big peninsula. Is it Kamchatka?
Kamchatka, yeah. That region is still going strong, but
Yeah, that's
I would watch it go quiet.
that's
I would wager that.
all right.
I could be wrong, but it'll be 20 years before even I know.
Oh goodness.
We got two Britneys in chat.
Hold on.
So, Vergamar.
That's basically just dwarf hammer.
The ruins of Dwarfhammer. Oh, well, there we are. Remember the specific structures that I showed you both in Iceland and here in Washington?
Mm-hmm.
This,
the basalt columns.
yes, but they were found in different zones in Iceland. And the ones we see now are only remnants of what were amazing structures even before. I looked this place up. This is what's left. There's no massive water here. There used to be. In this old photo, we see the semicircle.
Mm-hmm.
And now
it's sort of a
that semicircle is all that is left.
Don't go too fast.
How's that?
Better. Yep.
I would wager that volcanism, since even their discovery of it, has shoved land and earth and ash to bury it on one side. And you're looking at the empty inside of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or it's land on both sides, and the mud came to one side of the basalt, and the basalt stopped the flow, and thus creating what you see in your modern pictures.
Yes, indeed. And the Teffer would have solidified that mud.
Yeah.
Acid rain to turn it into a cement soil.
Zoom in on those
This
pillars.
is the cavern of Circular. But turns out I can't find this cavern anywhere.
Hold on.
The mountain of Tungu Kolur. That tied it all to that image.
Who, where?
Right at the bottom of your image on the left side, Tungu Kolur.
Mm-hmm. Haven't checked it yet. My eyes fixated on the cavern, and I began to search for it. And
unrecognized location.
Yeah, I haven't found it. It may be called something different, or nobody goes there.
If this book is from the 17 or the 1800s, it's called different because everything is called different.
Yeah.
Leave it on that page for 1 second. Oh, can you go back? Can you go? Oh, wait, actually, I'll write it down. How do you spell that? Cavern of Circular.
SURT.
SCHELLIR.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Now, check this out, Brittany. You're going to like it
Remember, breathe in and out.
Okay, I remember.
really
Practicing.
fast.
Okay. No.
Iceland, Iceland has been subjected to, for thousands of years, the decomposition caused by the atmospheric agency of ash and scoria, tending to level the roughness of the volcanic rocks and to reproduce fertile lands and pasturages that have been annihilated by a long series of eruptions. The falling down of the high rocks which border the gulfs also accumulates debris, which time levels and transforms into dunes of sand. These dunes continue to spread, the action of the sea becoming less, probably in consequence of a slow raising of the coasts, a phenomenon already observed in Scandinavia, Spitsbergen, Lapland, and Kamchatka. Crazy, right?
Wow.
So, at the time that they were looking at this, Iceland was in the throes of volcanic upheaval.
Wow.
It seems like it's further in the past, but they're speaking of activity.
That's why
Large
it's
scale.
so green on all those maps you see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Full of towns. Because, hey, build your town next to a volcano and you're guaranteed good crops.
Ooh. Whoa.
Now, Howard Phillips Lovecraft is credited with the creation of the word cyclopean to imagine things giant and of the Cyclops. And yet we find this from 1773, I believe, is the original French. And they say other rocks have the appearance of cyclopean walls, circles, feudal towers, and sphinxes, which suggests beforehand to the navigator all that islands contains of strange and wonderful. And anyways, yeah, just cyclopean is not a word unique to the horror story writer of Providence, Rhode Island. He is Providence, but he is not the father of that word. Little segue for Lovecraft. So, Fingal's Cave at Staffa and the interior. Look at that. They sail into it the size of their ship. Oh.
Wow.
This right here is an ocean-born, and what I would say likely originated fully on land version of what we found in France in the Basalt City. Which, if you haven't seen Mike and I's stuff, oh man, this is just another correlation.
You can go to the Searchiller Caves, is it what I think? I'm just looking.
Can you?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Righteous. I was looking and I couldn't find it.
But I wonder if it's spelled.
Maybe it's spelled differently.
Searchiller with an R. Is it with the R or T? I don't know. I'm sending it to your. Sometimes I don't know. Sent it to your Discord, but right now keep going with what you're doing. But what was that? Ooh.
Ideal landscape in the moon.
The moon.
They have a whole chain called the moon, the lunar. Weird. Is that earthly? Because that's in Idaho. They have the moon volcano.
Is every crater on the moon now a volcano?
Hold on.
No.
This is double labeling, so they can get away with saying lunar everything now. Oh my gosh!
This old text is when they still wondered at the moon, and now things create like structures. So I would take this with a grain of salt, but the surface of our satellite is scattered over with a great number of mountains, having nearly all the form of a circular wall, in the middle of which is a depression. Laplace recognized evident traces of eruptions. He added that the formation of new spots and luminous points, many times observed in the dark portion, even indicate volcanoes still in activity. It is to them that he attributed the aerolites which fall from time to time on our globe. Comets.
Mm-hmm.
New researches have considerably modified these ideas. They attribute the sight of the spots of light to optical illusions, the surface of the lunar world drawn with the greatest care by astronomers, and even for some time photographed, does not appear in any way changed, and a theory of aerolites different from that of Laplace now prevails. They saw lights in the dark spots, in the craters. They witnessed activity on the moon, and they now speak to its discredit.
Wow.
Extinct volcanoes of Auburn, earthquakes. Hey, there's shout out to Victor right here. Earthquake at Lisbon, November 18th, 1755. He showed this in our last chat.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
We're almost there. I want to skip to 10, and then I'm going to give it up. There's more stuff, of course, but there's
What were they
tons of
crediting
time.
this to the earthquake? What were they suggesting as cause? Shifting plates in this basalt granite? Do we know?
I can
Ooh,
go
what
back.
was that picture?
Take
No,
a
that one
look.
that had the steam coming. Hold up. Okay, what's this?
Fires of Baku.
Oh.
But look at how they're coming out of the pillars.
Mud volcanoes.
Harnessing.
The mud volcanoes and fires of Napa.
Yep.
Here we go. Napu. Whatever.
Uh-huh.
So hold on. I gotta look at this. Through Jupiter
Ooh,
again.
Here we are.
Good.
Yeah, I was about to read that.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
We have to go back. The Caucasus, fires of Baku. The study of popular myths cannot be separated from the geography of volcanoes and their history. Often these two orders of facts reciprocally explain each other. The poetical legend of the dragon of the Hesperides is again is again met with the other extremity of the world, where the dragon of Colchis also indicated the existence of a volcanic region. Remember I was talking about ghost volcanoes?
Okay, before you go on though,
Ferricides.
don't forget to read this right here. The fiery mountains before that you probably want to read. Sorry. As a
I will,
subtext. Yeah, okay, come back. Whenever you come back. Sorry. Go,
The,
continue.
the springs and wells are going to go into Strabo and all that.
Okay, thank you.
So, Typhon is one of my favorite characters, by the way. So the Ferricides of Samos, quoted by Humboldt, mentions in his Theogony that Typhon, when pursued, tried to save himself on the Caucasus, that the mountain was burning, and that he took refuge thence in Italy, where the Isle of Pithecusa, Ischia, was thrown, and so to speak, melted around him. This fable is evidently a remembrance of the volcanic eruptions of Caucasus, as well as the account of Apollonius of Rhodes, who places in this mountain the rock of Typhon, on which this giant was struck by a thunderbolt by Jupiter, son of Kronos, time. And what do we know of Jupiter? He wrests time from Kronos. The mythical personifications of phenomena resulting from the combination of the atmospheric and terrestrial elements, these allusions to the physical catastrophes of the old world had been the scene, indicate not only, according to the just observation of Guignon, that creation develops itself by struggle and combat, as well as by union. They show also the advent of a new general principle which, through Jupiter, governs the world, evolved from the primitive chaos, both in space and time. Well, that's a profound passage.
I'm just
book on
sitting here
volcanoes.
I'm just like, I can't believe this exists. And it's just still, wow. I'm floored. This is incredible. This is awesome. Thank you for taking the time to read and find this document, because it's
Thanks. I really like to read.
This is my birthday. I don't know. Keep going.
Okay. This one, springs of gas. In America, in the state of New York, an infinite number of springs of gas are partly used for lighting.
We don't
But
say.
it is especially in China that human industry has put this phenomenon to profit, and by an ingenious process of working,
Oh,
even obtained both pure water, salt water, and gas to burn, which they conduct to a distance by bamboo pipes, which they make use of to make salt, warm the houses, and light the streets.
You don't say.
So, in antiquity, clearly
Oh.
states that America is full of hot air,
And they
and
just
that the
said,
Chinese have been doing
gonna-
it first.
but we're going to come and charge people for it after
So,
we've established
Philip,
a way to distribute it. I can't.
oh,
I
and
can
to say that it has a limit. So, Philip's idea of star forts being mining operations, this text can
Yes.
verify.
Yes. That's what I was thinking. I thought I was using the gas for power. That's crazy. That's so crazy. And then eventually the destruction of the star fort.
Now,
When
I
it-
want to get to
It's crazy.
upheavals. There's a mountain called Methana.
Methane. That's what I was.
Methane.
I know they produce methane, and they have that's what it's tunneled through. I mean,
The
it's
upheaval of this mountain on the eastern coast of the Mori, between Trezen and Epidaurus, vividly struck by the ancients. Historians, travelers, and poets spoke of it. Ovid puts the following description of this phenomenon into the mouth of Pythagoras. There is seen near Trezen an escarped and arid peak. The locality was once a level plain, it is now a hill. Vapors shut up in dark caverns in vain seek an opening. Under their pressure the soil swelled up like a bladder filled with air or a bottle made of goat's skin. The earth thus upheaved preserved the form of a high hill, which time has changed into a hard rock.
wow.
This event appears to have coincided with the earthquake which destroyed Rhodes.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that. Wow.
So there we are.
I'm gonna next. This is
Ooh,
crazy.
Santorini. Ah, that's where we get Santorini from. I just learned something. So yeah, this is just one of the books.
I just found something on the interwebs.
I'm gonna cut out my screen share. I'm gonna leave the link in this Hangouts chat so that you can have it forever, Mike. If you would make sure it stays with the video, I think it's badass.
The
Take
link of the book.
I take
Yeah.
Oh, you're linking it.
this.
I'm gonna print it out and I'm going to hang up those pictures in my office.
Heck yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
I found
Maybe-
a volcano KMC.
No way.
What happened?
A volcano KMC.
It's like keeping everything. Oh, so those are land volcs. I wonder if there's one of the ocean.
I'm
sea
going to
floor.
look for it.
Gosh. Oh my gosh, over there. Go scroll. Spin. Hold on a second. What was that? Up. Oh. to the
Philippines.
right. No, over to the right. Hold on. Right there. What's the chain here? Over to the east? I don't know. What of the globe? There. What? Okay, hold on. Those are all volcs.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Whoa.
Mhm.
That's
Whoa, whoa,
understanding.
Where are we at?
This is near Japan. Wait,
They don't have that many volcs there.
Oh, they do. They actually have.
I'm joking. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh.
This is an awesome map.
They
No,
have
this is-
4 that are just going all the time.
yeah, that's
Go
here.
to the
actually
United
love
States.
reading
Go
about
to the
them.
United States if you can too. Back to the U.S. when you get a chance. I have to see that. I wonder wow. Breathe in.
Unzindake right there. Awesome.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Unsendake.
Yeah, that was a
Holy.
good read. There's, I got a mosquito in my mouth.
Oh, well,
Get 'em.
enjoy your late dinner, sir.
Protein. This is their,
Ebola.
Ebola.
the mosquitoes are so bad. This is
Ebola.
their, so now look at that. Oh, look at that. Is that just landmass coming off of that? That's the cable. That's the seamount right there. You can see the volcanoes that are on the seamount. If you zoom out, you can see the ridge in the ocean and follow it without it right there. I bet you that's without even labeling it. That's your underneath. Or that's a giant dragon just swimming. Dragon shark. Just
Hello,
kidding.
dragon.
Yes. All right. Where are we going? Keep going. Oh my goodness. So then would this be a seamount or are these all islands? To the let's follow that thing along. Oh, sorry. Wow. Are you going to keep going on the book or is that for, to be continued? Nathan.
Oh,
Hello.
the book.
Like,
No,
is that done? Are you done?
honestly,
Okay.
the book is short enough that you could devour that in about an hour, hour and a half.
I
But
wanted you to
no, I just
read
skimmed
it.
over. That's just one of them. There, I
I
do have
know.
more.
Oh my gosh.
I just
That
skimmed
was
over
the
the
book.
highlights.
Where are we at now? I can't. Wait, hold on. Zoom. Okay.
Is this
There we go.
United States?
What?
That's America.
No.
Yeah, you're just looking at it with east is up, which is
Hold
how
on.
every map should be.
Get the Midwest. I can't. Hold on. Just in like, oh, my brain. Oh, there we go. Holy. No, over there. Wait. That's holy. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Wait, now.
You're gonna have to go directly north is up.
Yeah,
The sunken island of California,
there you go.
by chance?
And then they have a probably
sort
a
of
sea mount,
seems to
like on the
have,
sea floor. They have something on the floor monitoring all this. Like you can go in a little elevator down there somehow. I don't even know.
Oh
Probably
yeah,
have
It almost
NASA.
it almost looks like it's been ripped apart, right?
Yeah, they probably are doing a little bit of experimenting with sank. Okay, so what do we have in the East Coast?
On the East Coast?
Is there any? Is it like nothing? Not done.
No volcanoes
What
there.
about the waters? Weird. That's interesting.
on the east coast you find a different type of volcanism.
Hmm. That's and you get the.
Actually, the Atlantic is strangely devoid.
Is it? It
Huh.
is.
I would say that
Ascension.
between
Ascension.
okay, so between New York and London, you're not going to find a lot.
No.
Wow. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is what we should have been like studying. Hopefully they're showing this to kids. This is where you live, except for unfolding it kind of or whatever they need
It's
to.
good. At least I don't have to go and continue on working on the volcano map.
Yes, you do.
Well, see, maybe they don't have the same as you.
I'll check and compare, but I don't think these guys missed a lot.
Ooh, am I still sharing my screen? That first image you showed in the book that was just showing like the pillars even reminded me of some of the stuff when you zoom in on the Grand Canyon and you see just the walls and what they look like, or just if you just Google images of the Grand Canyon and different areas around there, it looks like a lot of volcanic activities had taken place or results of. I don't know if you've done that yet, Nathan or Mike, but you'll see some similar structures. And then if you look at I have to look more into what happens with the lava dams or how deep. Yeah, I don't know. That was just something I wanted to look into at some point and ask if you had done that. Or
if you want to show lava dams, I think that would be pretty cool.
okay. All right.
Yep. Sharing your screen now.
Okay. Well, I have to look up the I'll get the lava dams on there then. Hopefully it goes right to it. Oh, my computer's that slow. Okay. Okay, it was just interesting. I could do images or the Wikipedia, but I don't know if they stop something or they become widened. And what I had read, and I hadn't even looked it up. If you like reading, you should read that because I can't even see my screen. The one thing. Oh wait, what does that say? Grand Canyon. What? What? Well, there you go. I didn't see the. I read the first part, but I didn't read the second part. But this is Wikipedia, so you never know. That's interesting. I don't want to read. If you want to, somebody else. No. Nathan,
Okay.
you said you like reading.
Go ahead and zoom in for me. Just
Okay,
like
hold on.
10%.
Oh boy, Zoom is going to go out. Here we go.
That's good.
Are you sure? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a little much. No, that's good.
Sorry, I don't know.
So
I could almost read it now.
the volcanic dam is a type of natural dam produced directly or indirectly by volcanism, which holds or temporarily restricts the flow of surface water in existing streams, like a man-made dam. There's two types of volcanic dams, those created by the flow of molten lava and those created primary or secondary deposition of pyroclastic material and debris. This classification generally excludes other, often larger and longer-lived dam-type geologic features, separately termed crater lakes, like Oregon. Although these volcanic centers may be associated with the source of material for volcanic dams, and the lowest portion of its confining rim may be considered as such a dam, especially if the lake level within the crater is relatively high. They occur worldwide. Nice.
Okay, now let's get to the geothermal energy. What's that? Here we go. Duration of primary geothermal energy release. No, that's not. Here we go. This was the interesting part, if you want to even scan it. Because we get to the comparison here of, where was it? It said the Grand Canyon. There it is.
So in essence, when the lava creates a dam, creates blockage, any rising of the water will allow any of the sediment knocked loose by that water to reinforce the spot that the lava blocked off, or that the lahar or pyroclastic flow blocked off. This is your mud flood, but causing a dam, not washing something out. So when the side of something blows and there's a crater crevasse, when the rains come and wash this down, they will actually reinforce the walls of what holds the water. And this is how you get a volcanic dam.
And so then, if that's all lava dams are on, so moving on to this, large examples of lava dams from a geological record include those repeatedly developed from the western side of the Grand Canyon, with the largest remnant now termed Prospect Dam, and in several locations within the Snake River drainage. So what is the narrative then with Grand Canyon as it relates to volcanic activity, or what is, I mean, is the comet, I mean, what's the common, what caused the Grand Canyon? They say it was rivers coming through and separating, and I don't know. I'm asking you guys if you have as such, what people say now about it. Oh, look at Tefra, here we go. Pyroclastic dams.
I think that if we're going to look at the Grand Canyon from a volcanic standpoint, that it's the remnants of something that came before. Like Lee was talking about gullies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that. So a fissure, a splitting, or a cracking exacerbated. I think that the Grand Canyon may have been yet older. And so the vents, tubes, gullies, and fissures in this were already there for the water to make use of over time.
Huh.
And I would say older still than the Mammoth Caldera.
Holy.
And that's
Volcanic.
if they're volcanic in origin, that would be the way they would have to go, I think.
What about, well, yeah. Or if there's a huge divide and shift or something in our plates.
Exactly.
Because of
Creates a
magnetism and it
fissure
just
or a
bam.
gully.
But was that sun or what's pulling and causing that? You know, is it a different volcano erupting and pulling it here and pulling it there, or what's the mechanism that's making that happen? I guess
Well,
because we think it's
volcanoes are a result of the sun having an effect on the earth.
mm-hmm.
In the shortest words possible.
Yeah.
The sun's effect on the earth changes our world shield, changes our earth magnet. And so as the sun wreaks havoc on the earth as it goes quiet or anything, our dipoles go out of phase. And when those things change, then the volcanoes come. So everything is the sun.
Yeah.
And amazing that so few people worship the sun now. We think they're all sun worshippers, and we point to sun worshippers because it's so odd. We keep seeing God worshippers. But the sun is the cause of almost all of it.
Yeah, it's like
If volcanoes were the cause of all of it, not the sun, then Ra would be a fire god. And Ariel and Vulcan would be the two prime gods, and they're not.
and to me, that's the eruption is, again, it's almost a self-preservation because the sun, if it's because it's getting too hot or it's changing the magneticism, possibly both, then that would be the natural thing to occur to stop it from happening. But it's also self-destructive. So.
No, that's creation, though. That's
exactly.
Imagine if volcanoes.
Yeah.
Volcanoes may be death to us, the dust mites that live on the skin, but it's not to the planet. I mean, it's like blood coming up to heal a wound or a blister from too much heat.
Well, and here's what's kind of interesting if you've watched the skies at all. It's been 4 or 5, maybe, I don't even know, days, 6 maybe, without any clouds, not one.
Only where you're at.
Where I'm at. That's what's weird, though, because they
Me
usually
too,
always
though.
are.
We had
real clouds
today.
We had like real clouds come through, like fluffy, that I have not seen in a very long time, and that's like 3 days. And I'm looking at all the eruption cycles, and I'm wondering what's coming here and what's floating through and what's like real. And it's cool to have actual crazy clouds again that aren't just blocking stuff out. But I was wondering if there's less activity here. Is there less activity? Because are they saying right now the volcanoes are doing it themselves? They're trying to kind of prolong the sun from heating it things too much to cause the shift.
See, the sun doesn't heat things.
Well, no, okay. The energy that here's my thing with the heat. When I'm looking at an eruption, I'm thinking about magma getting hotter because that, to me, it was what I was reading up on the tectonic plates and how when the magma is boiling and heating and expanding, and there's different areas that have like crystalline deposits in them, that's more eruptive or explosive, depending on location.
Don't think in terms of heat necessarily. Think in terms of pressure. When you have a cube of ice, and that cube of ice is in a cup, and you put your thumb on that cube, it doesn't go anywhere. Now, when that cube becomes water and you put your thumb in that water, the water level rises. So it's the pressure of the earth on top of the lava when it becomes excited. It's just that, yes, heat is a part of it, but it's more about how viscous it is, how
Okay.
easily it flows. So when the sun's rays, the specific radiation from the sun excites that stuff, it makes it more viscous, and the pressure from everything sitting on top of it squeezes it out.
Excites it like enter like with the
Like a microwave.
okay. And so now you have different reactions within the like fluid, magma, whatever you want to call it, below. That's also, but
Yeah,
it's caused.
siliceous rich magma. It obeys pressure more because it's in a more fluid state.
Okay.
And now things can be very, very hot and still be hard. So heat, I would argue, is one of the least important parts.
It's
It's
the
just that it's
pressure.
reached a stage of excitation where it becomes more malleable, more viscous, and it
that's
gets pressed through all the cracks. And when there are few cracks, it gets pushed up through the top of the pimple.
well, yeah. And we're talking supercritical fluids, which, like, if you're looking at like a hydrothermal vent, I think early on we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Fascinated with it, but that's like happening on every like level with these pressures. Like, it's just.
And now keep in mind, if the
It's
Earth's, if
just
the magnetic shield, if the Earth's magnetism was stronger, we wouldn't have these things. But when the sun quiets down and our magnetic pole is moving and our magnetosphere is waning, it is the cause of these things escaping. Whereas magnetism may help hold them in, our magnetosphere is weakening. So it's a bond event. Two things are happening at once, and it has double the effect. If only one had happened, it might still be manageable. But these two things are happening at once, and they're both continuing to happen more and more and more together. And so this is a rare time. We may be old or dead before the effects are truly seen.
crazy.
But we are already seeing a market change.
Have you seen, and I don't know if I think I just shared a screenshot, but looking at old literature on volcanoes, Ben Franklin's climate studies in 1763.
Yeah, when you shared that, I read it.
It's really, it just goes back to, and maybe we should just do an episode on taking some of the old tech people I was talking about at the beginning of this discussion, and piecing together the people that got to reclaim maybe old tech, or validating the people that are getting smeared for their nonsense that was pushed. I don't know.
People will always get smeared, and the person who comes out on top is the person who dies before they get smeared, because it's really money goes. That's always. Now, what I thought was funny was that when you were talking about Ben Franklin and sharing that, that's when I pulled up the what was it, sealevel.info, because he talks specifically about the Gulf of Mexico and the resultant dead zone from what?
Hypoxia.
From volcanic dams,
Yes!
from lahars, from
Send that
pyroclastic
to Lee.
all
Send that
the
to
poison gets washed from the upper
gosh.
Americas and all the way down into that delta. And now in a specifically heightened period like this, and then throw in all the man-made stuff like Monsanto poisons, like oil from gas stations, all of that, the dead zone here is going to be 10 times worse this year. And now Lee already knows about this because Lee is familiar with the dead zone. We both follow a channel called Mr. BBB333.
Yeah.
And he is a great weatherman. But
that's right.
So when you mentioned that, I noticed that it tied into the dead zone, and I linked the sealevel.info. Ever want to know about water, and especially what you're talking about with water, go to sealevels.info.
So how about this then?
So
I'm sharing my screen. It's the career, whatever, but harnessing energy from deep sea hydrothermal vents. They have like the mechanisms and the diagrams and the shenanigans. And I wonder, they're probably studying the same things. This looks like it's, oh, they
You
have a
know,
turbo machinery from June 11th. Public.
go to, will you go to on their thing, news and events?
Well,
Click on
remind
that.
me to come back to here, but yeah, I want to
Mhm.
see their presentation right now. News and events, computer. Okay.
Now, these guys, the sites like this typically don't have a million posts. It's not like Facebook. So I want you to go all the way to the bottom. I want to see the first news event that they've ever posted.
There's none on here. Looks like. Hopefully it's loading. I don't know. No
I
news
hope
from
it's
these
just
guys.
loading. Wow. I
Wait,
suppose
hold on. We
that's
got it.
good news.
We got some news.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay,
Here we
go
go.
all the way to the bottom. Don't look at
Okay,
anything.
bottom.
Just
Okay.
all the way to the bottom.
Load more. We're trying to
Yep.
go as old as old can be. Nobody liked that one.
Aw.
Oh, we got gas turbine labs. Oh yeah, sweet conversion
they're
of
gonna-
electrical power.
They're going to have a lot of talk about what they can do, about
Uh-oh.
what their mission goal is, but I want to see the first thing they decided to
more, okay.
share to tell you who they are, like what they've done.
Let's see. There's a lot. So keep scrolling.
Dang. Now, how did you come across Creaire?
I was looking at hydrothermal vent mining to see how much oil they were getting versus. Holy, they're everything. Their
Ooh,
software.
did you see the
atmospheric
Gulf
aerosol
oil?
sand.
Ah, there we are. That's
Which one?
funny.
Which one? This one or above? I'm not even reading.
Oh no, keep going.
What is that? Unattended aerial sensor platforms. Okay. Hold on. Let's keep going. Oh, they do everything. Looks like.
Ah, there's
NASA
the ear
funds.
again.
There's NASA. NASA funds career to design novel refrigerant pump. Okay, NASA. Why do they need something for refrigeration unless they're trying to cool stuff? So for space, outer space.
A liquid
That's their inner
free
space work.
refrigerant.
I thought space was gold.
No, they were talking about they use space to define ocean space. Ocean water liquid, they call that space. They call volcanoes space, caves space. And so outer space, they have to say like outer space. But if you look now when you see NASA, there's not much that says outer space. It's like space. And so then you click further and I have all the links to, well, not all, I shouldn't say that, but I have a bunch of the NASA like sub-affiliates and all of their water projects, some of their water projects, and it's crazy. But what's that one? Heavier astronauts have higher risk of post-flight eye changes. Well,
All the way to the bottom.
I'm trying. Oh wait, there we go. That was one of the earlier ones. So harnessing energy from deep sea hydrothermal vents is early on.
Yeah, do it. Click that.
I'm gonna
one.
go. This is the one. Hold on a second.
Oh, is there more?
Yeah, we're gonna. There's. I don't know. It's saying load more, so we'll see. It might be it, and that might have been the first thing they posted, which is cool, because then everything after has buried this. If you go here.
Yeah, that may be it. Click on it.
Yeah. Oh man. That's the one that I had. That's the one I Googled though. So that was the first one that I got.
Wow.
Yeah.
Came across their older. I'm sorry I wasted your minutes.
That's fine. This is the.
So that's as far back as they go.
Yeah, this is here we go. So turbo ranking, the seawater that percolates through fissures. Anyway, it was just a device that they had established. Office of Naval Research, which is Deep Woods Hole. I know that I know they're next to Woods Hole, not facilities in Massachusetts, is one of the naval research areas. But
so low maintenance due to corrosion and disruption.
but the model of what they're modeling these after is the hydrothermal deep sea. So they're harnessing the energy from these deep sea hydrothermal vents, but I think they're also trying to create a mechanism. But I can find the Here we go. Just to try and create, I don't know if they're digging to create more types of vents, but I think if there's a million, they could easily.
Yeah. I
Here's
couldn't
a. I
see
was
how
trying to
they
open
would
this.
drill to. Here's the thing.
I,
If they're going to find hydrothermal vents, they have to go to where they are. If they're going to make their own hydrothermal vents, they would have to frack down and tap into the power.
this is mining
Kilauea
hydrothermal
we
vents.
already see.
You have more of this on your website. It's mining hydrothermal vents for, what did it say? Renewable electricity, drinking water, and valuable minerals. So and they're getting oil too, but that's not out here. That's on, what happened? Uh-oh. Hello?
I'm here.
Here.
My screen just went black. Wait, back. We're
Well,
back.
you have a million tabs open. Your
I
computer
know.
must be strong.
It's actually smoking in the back right now.
Is it real? Are you
Okay,
kidding?
here we go. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
If anything was smoking in my book room, in my office, I'll tell you what, it would be out of the office right now. Oh, here we go. Yay. I don't even have candles in here. I was like, no, that's just, these look
Not
like
my
fried.
strange connection.
Okay,
This
okay.
is,
Can all right. Can you see this? If I scroll slowly up in my ridiculous nonsense. This is how they would consider mining them.
your connection
But then
is
if you
really
go to
going,
the oh, bad.
yeah.
Let me see if I can close out of any of my other. Let's close. I can close all these. Can you see my screen at least?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted you to see. And if you look at a submarine volcano, which I could pull up too, it's like the same type of model. But go to someone else's until I clean up my crap. I got click happy because it wasn't working. And now I'm on the Foundry, so no. And that, we'll see, actually. Could give that a shout out. We're supposed to at some point. Closing. All right. There we go. So, yeah, just interesting that they're talking about the tech, and then Woodtoll has their own video on what they're already doing to get the minerals, and then all of it that's owned on the North Shore and whatever. This is cool stuff, though. Very interesting, and hopefully it'll help people wake up to what's kind of happening right now, because it's probably going to get pretty cold, and
Yes,
it's
indeed.
always a good idea to have. It's a good idea to have water and stuff like that. Yeah. Wait. Whoa. Where are we?
It's pretty cool. If you click on one of the volcanoes, it brings you to a Smithsonian link.
Yeah. Yeah.
Click it. I want to see what they lied about.
No, the Smithsonian is got a decent documenting. They are up to date. They're like with NASA putting the. Let me see if I can share some of their stuff there. They have
Madagascar.
They have the amount that's emitted. They have the type of eruption. They have the eruption history. It's really, that's what I've been using just to, because once you're in there, they have a giant database. Oh wait, which one is that? Holy, I thought I just
last
said
known eruption, unknown, evidence credible.
not that. Just wait.
They could just type
wait.
like, we don't know. We just think.
I know. Just wait though. Here's what I'm telling you. So if you want, but it's funny, and I would be the last person to advocate for these people.
There's a hole here in the ground, Diggings. What do you mean, sir? This could well have been a volcano.
Okay.
Are you sure?
I put a square on it.
I
I'm
work
not
for the
sure.
Smithsonian.
So here you go. They have some good stuff on the volcanoes that they're limited themselves to monitoring. So they're not like as comprehensive as your World Volcanic Organization, which I think is probably, they monitor different too, but on my screen now are the different monitoring sites. There's a lot
at least
of them.
it's not the USGS.
No, I have a. Ooh,
awesome. Scroll up. Show us that.
Which one? What? The Royal Society range?
Oh no, I
That's
was
pretty
looking at the
crazy.
volcano slideshow and it was just really cool.
Yeah, so they have some good, but you can search the database. Look at this. Look at right there. So if you wanted to look for,
Mm-hmm.
and they have good information on what, just describing and detailing some of the terms. And they have the current eruption reports, but they are tied to the USGS. They're tied to NASA, and so that's again, you got to get the truth and the lie, and know what you're reading, and know that the years
Oh,
are going to
yeah.
be off, but know that they
So
have to
done.
disclose some of it. So yeah, you might want to even have some fun clicking around in here. What is this one? This is the Global Volcanism Program since the 60s. Eruptions, earthquakes, and emissions. And so they are the ones that I have, I think it was paper written where they're talking
You've
about
linked
this.
that once or twice. I remember that.
Monography. So there's,
Hell
I
yeah.
have a lot of these ones. Here's some more. What is this? This is, has volcanic, here's the map of volcanic activity. So there is somebody trying to debunk volcanism as being a cause of global warming or climate change. And so I went AWOL, and he said, if anybody can show me that volcanic eruptions have been increasing, then I won't say it, but humans, it's time to stop what you're doing. You're causing climate. And I was like, dude, you're attacking me. Hold on 5 seconds. So I found this this page that I have. And then I found the TED Talk where he's talking about, he's a volcanologist that climbed volcanoes and is explaining the function of the submarine volcanoes and then your land volcs, and how it's a beautiful system that, is kind of working to save us, and has to do with ozone, atmosphere, and whatever else. And he just kind of details what is responsible for the changes we've been seeing in our temperatures and why. And so I think that is an important video that we can link, because it closes one of the political debates. And I was talking with Andreas a little bit about that if we can take away some of the fake political agendas they've had to divide people by giving them accurate science and information, that would be one huge point of discussion that everyone could say, wait a minute.
They're actually trying to do that. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
they're trying to do that right now. They're trying to demonize a specific candidate, calling him basically a right-wing devil who believes in grand solar minimum. But
really?
yeah.
We can prove it.
Yep. But they have actually, it doesn't matter, because they have linked him with far right or alt right. And so nobody's ever going to believe him on anything. And also the Democratic National Chair, where is it? The chairman of the DNC has barred all debate on climate.
What?
You can't have it. Yeah, they specifically threatened to blacklist every single Democrat who took part in one of these debates.
Because they can't. It's over. We can prove it. Like, we need to get these videos
Exactly.
up because it's over.
That out of everyone's mouth. They don't want to push a global warming agenda or a carbon tax agenda. They don't want you talking about it.
Here's the thing, though. So the Paris Agreement and the money, because people have to know what's going on. And so this Paris Agreement, I think it's obviously a sham or whatever to tax people for this and that. But what if they're funneling some of that money into this research, which would make sense, but they just can't tell people about it because that was kind of important for them to know more about the eruption cycle and what's causing global warming or grand solar minimum under the guise of this global warming shenanigans of human beings and whatever. Now,
well, that was the whole point of the Yellow Vest movement, that the carbon tax is bullshit.
Now, it's true, but what about if it was to study this kind of stuff and present it to the public, all these programs they have? Again, we keep demonizing people because they're lying about what they're doing, because it doesn't make sense. And so it's created just horrible divide because whatever. But what if they're actually doing some good things? Because we're getting these publications, they have to be funding some of that, because we're not paying these taxes. Anyone that's in the Paris Agreement, they're paying for stuff. So what research are they paying for? What are they paying for?
Studies.
Are they really going to put all that money towards reducing? That is so stupid.
It's not the attempt to change it at this point. It's the attempt to monitor it. And
correct.
So everybody's
and then not report on it to everybody.
Yeah, everybody's escape plan
except
From a
us.
conspiracy point of view, everyone's escape plan hinges on them knowing it before you do and being able to act, and you're stuck out in the cold. The
Well,
literal
here's this.
cold.
I mean, this chart is pretty indicative of increase, and this is just one site, but you can find, like, I found 5 more articles. I only shared one thing on that guy's video, but I was triggered. Anytime I feel like I'm personally attacked by somebody, like, directly, as
No, you
being
gotta
stupid.
get them. You
Well, he
gotta
said
get
you're
them, but you
stupid.
gotta do it
You're
with love.
causing this. So I did. I said, yeah, I know you were asking for evidence of increase in volcanic activity. I just wanted to let you know I found a couple of sites that show that. So anyway, maybe I helped him out. But no one's reported on that, so he didn't. Except for that TED Talk. I'll send that to you later if you haven't watched it. It's really good. It's short and he has my dream job, I guess now.
TED
But I never
Talking?
knew it. It's a TED Talk that he explains global warming from volcanoes. It's. I was like, well, how is
Hell
this
yeah,
on
that
TED
would be
Talks?
nice.
I'm
No,
like, how is
that's,
this on TED Talks?
wait, well, is it TED or TEDx? Because you
That must
can
be
actually pay to have your own TED Talk under the moniker, and it's called TEDx. It's like,
TED Talk. I always say TED Talk, but it might be TEDx. It's TEDx. TEDx. It's the greatest. This is what got me right away. I was like, you know what? Right now, let's go live. We can prove global warming is caused from volcanoes and eliminate one of the major problems in politics. Like,
and that's
we
now
can talk to
global
families.
warming. We can't even say global warming.
Sorry, I'm saying for
it's
those
global
people.
cooling.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they'll say climate change, and then they'll go, well, you know, climate change is more than just warming. And then the only thing you can say after that is, yes, I agree, but it is not caused by man. That's it.
Or cows. Or cows.
Oh, methane from cows or
no,
methane
I was on that
pockets from
train.
Russia.
I was on that train because I was like, I shouldn't be so condescending. Hold on. I was of a party that believed at first it was due to myself, but then I was starting to lean towards, well, no, it would be more because of the cows and the industry. So I'm not guilty by driving a car.
Well,
And then I was like, wait a minute, that's a joke. That's it's a fucking freaking
if that's because
joke.
of cows, then humans would have farted
so
us
dumb.
to death.
I know, but there's so much industry, so there's so many more cows. So if you look at the cow science, I'm serious. If you look at the, hold on, there's a cow. If you look at the methane cow data, it makes it easier for a liberal-minded person to go about their lifestyle without changing it and not feeling guilty while thinking they're responsible and then blaming cows. So
Yes,
it's a really
though.
brilliant design. You know what I mean?
But it's only that way until you give a point of reference for the volume. So when they're like,
exactly
volume of cow farts, well, the volume of Anak Krakatau when it blew, and this is one of my favorite points, that single volcano spewed more ash into the stratosphere in a week than all of mankind does in a year. That's just one.
Now,
I mean, damn. Compare that with a cow's fart.
And we have a counteractive to that, which is
I want to make a video.
Compare
I want to
that
make a video now of a sound of a fart captioned over a volcano.
Yeah, or comparison.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Fields
of cows farting, and then the eruption of a volcano. Okay, and I actually did that. You know that I actually weighed that on my hands. To my husband, I said, "Cow farts, volcanoes." Like it was like, which one is? That's hilarious because you're right on the money with that. But the video that I sent you, he talks about the submarine volcs and how that is a counteractive of the land volcs or whatever, or different types of, I should say, eruptions, to make it so it's not completely covered, so we don't have this. We would suffocate, whatever, because of those numbers. But it also is significantly more than cow farts, regardless of the counter effect.
And now we will, in localized areas, not necessarily suffocate, but there is the miasma to consider. There is the amount of tephra and silicious dust that you'll breathe in. It's not called the winds of plague for nothing.
No.
But, I mean, all that being said, the oceans are going to drink up our heat, so the coastal cities will be the places to go. which is why the rich are taking them up.
I have a really good doc on that too that I found.
You've actually found some golden stuff
Well,
over the past few weeks since we first talked about volcanoes.
it's like the 1st of May. Actually, it was like May Day.
Oh, Mike is screen
Yes.
sharing a volcano while he makes a fart.
Okay, hold on a second. I need to.
It was a real bassy fart. Yeah, put a duck on that, Andreas. I feel better. Lighter.
That solved a lot of problems.
Glad we could all come to an agreement on that.
Have fun with that, Andreas.
I think, guys, that's time to call it for this one. We've been on it for a bit, and I had a mosquito bite my pinky twice, and so my pinky looks like a breakfast sausage. It sucks. I'm really scared about it.
So you ate a mosquito earlier, and now you had one take revenge on you.
I took one for the team for you guys. I'm just sitting out here where it's safe to talk. It's nice and cool. And I can smoke. I'm a chimney. I know. There's nothing funnier than a smoker talking about chemtrails. But I don't talk about chemtrails, so. Brittany, you still there?
You're still with us, Brittany?
Bro, I don't think she is. I see her clicking, but I can't hear her. Brittany. Actually, it's Brittany. There's no Tanny in her. There we go.
Hold on. Wait, hello? I was oh my gosh, thank goodness. Was I muted the whole time?
Yeah, you
I was
were.
laughing so hard.
Oh.
Wait, was I muted? That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't laughing at the first. Stop. Okay, hold on. Shoot. Okay. I'm actually just trying to find stuff. I was telling you and no wonder you didn't hear me. I was trying to tell you about plagues and volcanoes and get my document that just came out on plagues and volcs and linking it together over their strange coincidence. But now I can't find it because I'm
No, it's fine. Next time that we do this, do you want to get straight into the years of plague next time?
Yeah, we can
Hell yeah,
do
that can
that.
be a dedicated one. We'll do a shorter one, but my favorite part about these times of terror isn't upheaval or comets from the sky or lava. It's the fact that the earth turns black. It's black in the sky, and then everyone gets sick and dies, kills each other, gets super religious because they don't understand it. Oh, fine, I'll do it too.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, that was so funny. And I couldn't even see the video you were showing with the sound effects. I was cracking up a little bit.
I just can't help it.
You had a video of an eruption happening at that time? Because that would have been funny.
I did.
And we should make a tribute to climate change / global warming and get a compilation.
I had an undersea volcanic eruption going on while doing the poopy sounds.
It was a wet one.
I'll just stop the recording.
Well, thank you for sharing and